This episode of Your Morning Drive is brought to you by Fireworks Co-working. They are a creative co-working space located in Marietta, Georgia, focused on supporting the local community and uplifting creative entrepreneurs. If you want to try out this beautiful space, this podcast room is just one of the many available rooms and spaces available for you and your company to work at. If you want to try them, you can. Use code DRIVE at checkout and you'll get a free day pass. So, if you're working from home, if you're working at an office that you don't have to go to, if you're tired of working at your kitchen table where you have to listen to your kids or your spouse or the lawn people in the outside cutting the grass and it's too loud for your Zoom meetings. Well, you don't have to worry about that. You can try out Fireworks Co-working in Marietta, Georgia. It's right down the street from Kennestone Hospital. They are the presenting sponsor of Your Morning Drive. They offer me a beautiful space for me to be able to record my podcast with all of the creators, business owners, and other individuals that I get the pleasure of interviewing, and they can be your home too. So either go to the space, tour the place with the staff, tell them Logan Lewis from Your Morning Drive sent you, or if you're booking online, again, use code DRIVE, DRIVE, for a free day pass to try the space. Your Morning Drive is also present to us by Good Days Canned Cocktails. Good Days are a classic cocktail brand created in a convenient, ready-to-drink canned format for any occasion, whether it's a pool day, a boat day, a beach day, a graduation, a wedding, a bar mitzvah, anything in between. Good Days are there for you. Good Days are ahead when they are in your cooler, your fridge, your anything in between. Good Days has your back. If you want to be one of the first to try their drink, you can do so by visiting drinkgooddays.com/pages/find-us to find a store near you selling their drink. Of course, you must be 21 years of age to consume and purchase. Hey friends, another partner of this podcast are the Patch Boys of North Atlanta. If you need top-notch drywall repair and renovation services, the Patch Boys of North Atlanta have you covered. With almost 300 five-star Google reviews, they're a fully insured, locally owned father and son team committed to quality. Their expert technicians deliver seamless repairs, and with the Reno Boys, they handle everything from drywall to full renovations. Plus, they give back by partnering with the Center for Family Resources to reduce childhood homelessness. Trust the Patch Boys of North Atlanta to take care of your home, start to finish. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Your Morning Drive. I am the host with the most, Logan Lewis. It is good to be back with everybody this morning. A couple of things before we get rolling into our episode today. I just need you to do me one favor. I just need you to send Your Morning Drive to one friend, one family member, a coworker, your neighbor, someone at church, someone you work with, someone you used to date, your ex-husband, your ex-girlfriend, your veterinarian, your dentist. Give somebody in your life this episode. That's all I ask is just one share. Hit that little share button in the bottom left corner, at least on an iPhone. I don't know about Androids, but at least on an iPhone. And share it with the first person that pops up in that little menu to share it with. Just share it to one person. Say, hey, I think you might like this guy's content. Just send it to him. If you want to send them a link, you can send them a link on Apple Podcasts or Spotify to listen. You can send them a stage dive link if they subscribe on that platform. Or you can, of course, send them a YouTube link if they wish to watch in full on YouTube as well. If you want to do more than just subscribe on those platforms, you can follow along on social media at Your Morning Drive is everything. LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram and LinkedIn. Well, I say Instagram / Facebook because, they cross promote to each other, but Meta, I should say, and LinkedIn are probably the platforms I'm most active on, although I'm trying to, of course, get the other platforms more active as well. Subscribe to Your Morning Read, the newsletter. It's published every third Monday of the month. And yeah, we have a ton of fun with that. Another one's about to come out. In fact, actually, the day this episode airs, the second one will have come out. So if you haven't subscribed to Your Morning Read, it's free. It's a newsletter all about me, all about the podcast, all about the other things that I have going on, all about pop culture, everything in between. It's just a place where you can come and consume some written content as well. Yeah, I think that's it for programming notes. Yeah, well, that's it for programming notes. My guest today is a dedicated homeowner and active church member, deeply involved in both children and student ministries. She teaches adults by day and kids in her church roles, sharing her passion for nurturing others. Though she doesn't have her own children, she has 2 beloved fur babies that keep her company. She is a people person who enjoys staying busy with friends, her chosen family, whether it's hosting game nights or exploring new activities. She's a huge Harry Potter fan and a rom-com book lover, always ready with a corny joke to make people smile. Please welcome my friend, Brittani West.
Hello.
Hi.
That was a great intro.
Was it?
Yeah.
It was very well written by you.
I don't know. I think you ad-libbed a little bit there.
I did. I did. I always take what people give me and I'm like, oh, move around a little bit with it. Yeah.
On it.
Yeah. Jazz it up a little bit. How are you?
I am fantastic. I am fully charged on coffee. I'm ready to go.
Thank you for this, by the way. I'll
You're
get you back
welcome.
after we're done. Fun fact for you. I was thinking about it on the way over here after you sent that text asking if I wanted anything. Every single time I've seen you outside of work, you've gotten me coffee, which I guess is only really twice.
Yeah, that's accurate.
Yeah. The time we went to the Ministries gala.
Yeah.
Shout out Ike, who was on this podcast a while ago. And then this time, I was like, sick.
Can you tell coffee is like my love language?
It is. And I appreciate it because you know what's crazy is all day I had that feeling. You as a fellow glasses wearer will understand. You ever know when your eyes are just heavy and they just feel like
they're done for the day?
Right. Whether you're wearing, do you wear contacts ever?
I do. And they've been really irritating my eyes this week. So I got my glasses.
So it's like, you know, that feeling that your eyes are saying like, take us out, take us out, take us out, take us out. But I don't want to say you can't, but you can't. You have other things you need to be doing except take your contacts out. Yeah. And it just leaves that lasting, like heavy eyelid feeling. Mm-hmm. That's where I've been for the past 4 hours.
That's rough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I hope the coffee helps.
It is already helping. So I appreciate it, friend. Thank you for that.
Of course.
Thank you for that. How's work today?
It was good. You know, got sent home midday because presidential candidate is coming in town and we work right there outside of Atlanta. So they're like, all right, go home, beat the traffic. So I was thankful for that. Coming here, I was seeing all the said traffic and I was like, yep, glad I'm not sitting in that.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. But it should just be a national work from home day whenever anybody remotely famous comes into town. It's just a nightmare. Or on days that there's Braves games, especially for y'all with the office right there. Oh my goodness. I mean, I used to work at another company over in that, and their office was in that area too. Mm-hmm. And if there was a Braves game on a Friday night, forget it.
The parade when they won the World Series, it took me 4 hours to get home. 4. I was in no mood. Like my friends were going, I was like, I can't right now. I've just spent an eternity in the car. I'm over it. Like
4 hours?
4 hours. And at that time I was in a position that I was in office every day. I was working reception and I, like an idiot, didn't take the day off. So I was like, oh, it'll be fine. Yeah, no, it was not fine.
Wow.
So, heavily regretted that decision.
Yeah. How did that work if you took reception off? Who would do it?
We had to get people from other departments to fill.
Wow.
But like you have to make sure that you get people that are actually going to do the things that you need them to do.
Right. And not just a body to sit at the desk.
Right. But also if you are just a body at the desk, like you have to talk to people. Like that's the whole reception gig. And so I had to be very methodical about what days I took. And I
Wow,
had
I completely forgot that that's where you were.
for 2 years.
Wow, that's where you were when I started.
Yeah, and it was during COVID, and so it was a skeleton crew. I joke, Orlando, I know you know him.
Of course.
He was one of the only ones in his department at the time, and so we got really close because every day he would walk in, and it was me and him, and then another guy, Mike, who no longer works there. But
wow, shout out Orlando. I love that guy. Such a nice guy.
He's one of my
Such a sweet guy.
1,000%.
Very, very kind dude.
For sure. And so willing to help. Oh, he's a good one.
Yes, very willing to help. Never questions it. Never makes you feel like
an
idiot, or never makes you feel like, oh, I could be doing other things, but instead I have to help you. Yeah. Such a cool dude.
If I ever need to pick me up, I'm like, will you just talk to me for a second?
Yeah. Yeah, he's a sweet guy. So that's how we met.
Yeah.
Is we both worked for the same, or you still work. I no longer work.
I know.
That's
Thanks
fresh.
For leaving me.
Yeah, I know. That's fresh. It's still weird, if I'm honest. I kind of feel like I'm mourning the death of like a family member in a weird way. Like this is the first time I've left a company in I don't want to say in negative feelings, but the first time I needed to get out because it was really wearing on my mental well-being. And then the second one, there was a situation with our owner being a jackass. I can say it now. It's been years. So this is the first time I've actually left a job where I had a good rapport with most of the people at the company. And I've been at home. I haven't started a new job yet.
So you haven't been able to move on yet.
Right. Yeah. So I haven't really been able to move on. As the day we're recording this, I've been off work for 3 days and I don't start the new job until Thursday. So I have again tomorrow all day to just sit around, which is nice. I mean, I'm not complaining. I'm able to get the things done I need to get done before like a whole new reset. But I've never felt so sad about leaving a company.
And this is only my second job. Like my first job, I was at a mom and pop bakery and I did that for 3 years. And like, I didn't have like any family at the time or any kids or anything. And I was fresh out of high school. And so when I left that, I was like, I don't know how to feel. Cause like I didn't leave on bad terms. And I was like, if y'all guys need help on holidays, like let me know. And the other things transpired after that. So that never happened, but it was like a whole different ballgame. And now I've been with my current role or company for 5 years.
That's insane.
Yeah. 5 years. I'm like, I feel so old. I'm only 26. I feel like a grandma.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely weird. I mean, I texted a friend of mine today, and I told him, I was like, it kind of feels like I'm empty a little bit. And I was like, and this isn't my own fault. I made the decision to leave, so it's my fault. But it's like I'm sad.
It'll be good in the long run, though.
Maybe, and you know, I might find my way back if the right thing pops up. Of course, that I discussed that with our friends in HR during my exit process. I tried to make sure they knew as much as I felt that I didn't feel any type of way towards them, and they, from what it sounded like, echoed the same sentiment and said, "We'll miss you. Please come back if the opportunity presents itself."
And I know, so many people have left and come back and left and come back. And
they mentioned that. They said, well, we have a good reputation for people leaving and coming back. And I said, well, that's true. That's true. So, hey, keep those phones on loud. If,
some things are just for a season.
Sure they are. So. Sure they are. But yeah, so we met there, and I just love one thing that I think anybody who knows you, it's like one of those, if you know kind of things.
The elite club.
The elite club of people that work at that organization, they all know that you're like the most bubbly person on the face of the planet. Where does that come from?
Honestly, when I was growing up, I heard someone, I can't remember if it was like in high school or middle school, but I heard somebody's life story. It was very sad. And I remember it was like one of the first times that somebody had like really touched me with their story. And that sounds so terrible saying it out loud, but he said, I make an active effort to leave every room I enter better than how I found it. Wow. And there was something about that resonated with me. And I was like, I did some research. I'm a numbers person. I love analytics. But
really?
Yes. And so I did a research, and it takes more muscle and energy in your body to be negative and grumpy and mean than it does to be kind and happy and nice. And granted, I have my days. If you call me on a bad day,
Like World Series day. That was a bad day.
World Series day, I was in no mood. But I try to make a conscious effort to just put more good out there. I feel like so much of life is so hard. Like, why spend it in a negative space when there's truly a positive in everything? You may have to search for it for a minute, but you can truly find like a good thing out of any situation. And now, as an adult, I've worked with children since I was 17, 18 years old. I'm 26 now, so I'm going on almost a decade. But like, I see how much they absorb. And if I can be that good example for them of how to act, how to treat people, even how to just be a human, like, I want them to go into their generation and continue kind of like that domino effect. It's almost like a pyramid scheme without selling anything. Like, what you're selling is kindness.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like, that's what I want my legacy to be. Like, if God forbid I'm not here tomorrow, I want them to say, she was a kind, happy person. And like, sometimes people are really hard to love and they are really hard to be nice to. But I think being able to be that kind person really sets you apart. And, as a Christian, I know we've had conversations before, like, I'm called to be different, to act different, and to present myself in a certain way that is Christ honoring. And so I want that reputation of, something's different about her. What is that? And it's not me, but it's God through me, right?
Sure.
So I just leave the room better than how you found it. Kindness is so strong, and it can truly solve so many different problems, even if you don't feel it. But it does.
Something you said kind of rings true, and it has the scientific evidence to back it up, or just like the society evidence to back it up. I mean, you talk about like being around kids, and it's crazy how kids soak up the negativity.
Yes.
And it's always, this is an extreme example, but it's always those, not always, I don't want to say that, but most often when you see on the news that there was a shooting or a serial killer back in the day, if that you go back and look at their environment and when they grew up, their parents were always fighting. There was a lot of violence in the household.
Yeah.
There was a lot of abuse in the household. And I know negativity and abuse are two very different things, but that negative aura, I guess, that you live in can just become a part of you at some point.
It's like, how when you walk into somebody's house and it smells like them.
Yeah.
That's like your upbringing, like the emotions that are surrounding your household, whether it's positive or negative, like you absorb them, like the smell of your house. And so it's just, kids take on so much, but you don't realize how much yourself takes on as well. And you can see my emotions all over my face. Like, if I'm feeling it, you're going to know it. Yeah. But I also have an RBF real bad. And so sometimes if I'm like focusing and they're like, oh, what's wrong? And I'm like, oh, hi, what's going on? They're like, oh, you are okay. Yeah.
I also have an RBF, and I've been told by many to figure that out. And I don't know how to figure it out, because if I'm just chilling, I try to have like a little grin or something on my face, but like, sometimes if you catch me at the wrong moment, I look like I want to gut you or something, Or like if I'm in deep thought, or like if I'm running through my to-do list in my head and I'm going 90 miles a minute. It happened yesterday. Everybody's like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Why? And they're like, oh, your face says otherwise. I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm just thinking. I'm sorry. You know what really grinds my gears, man, is if I am in a perfectly perfect, happy state and people keep asking me what's wrong, that's what fuels my fire. Is I'm like, something's about to be wrong if y'all keep asking me. Do you want me to be upset? Because I can get upset. Yeah. Some would call that hot-tempered. I would call that normal.
There is no pun intended in this. I have a very short fuse, and it takes a lot for me to get there. But once I'm like right there on the cusp, anything can set me off.
Really?
And so, yes. And I had tried to work on it my entire life. Like, there are very few things that really grind my gears, but like being disrespected or being belittled or talked down to, like that is a big one that is just like, I'm
like mansplaining something to you.
Yes. Like, do not try and mansplain something to me. You can ask for my understanding, ask for my familiarity with the topic or subject at hand, but do not mansplain something to me. And so that is really a big one. And in the training world, because I'm a trainer, I have to deal with a lot of different personalities, right? And
Mhm.
so you have some individuals that come in, and because I look a lot younger,
Mm.
I have to earn their
Sure.
respect, which I
Sure.
shouldn't have to do, but I do. And so because of that, they talk down to me or call me
Sure.
dear or honey.
Dear.
Yeah. And I'm like, you're old enough to be my father. Don't you dare.
Don't you dare.
Like, I feel like it's different if it's like an older person and they're like, oh, sweetheart, thank you so much for your help. Like, I feel like, okay, you've earned your
Sweetheart.
stripes. But when it is somebody that could be my parent or could even be like similar age range, like,
Mhm.
or even older friend, whatever. Like, don't talk down to me.
Yeah. Regardless of how old you are,
Yeah.
don't talk down to me.
Yeah. And it's like, I'm training you. Like, I'm sorry.
I was just talking. I did an episode that came out a few weeks ago with a guy named Cole, and he is a 27-year-old entrepreneur, and him and his dad own a couple franchises.
Okay.
So he's, for a 27-year-old, he's a young entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And one of the businesses he owns is drywall repair. They're actually a sponsor of this episode. Shout out to the Patch Boys. And we talked about at one point how he'll go into someone's house, give them a quote, and they'll treat him like shit. And he's like, well, I'm actually the owner.
Yeah.
And
their attitude changes real quick.
Yeah. And it's like, but then he says that some people look at him and don't necessarily blurt it out loud, but they'll talk to him as if because he's young, doesn't know what he's talking about,
Yep.
which is a huge thing in our society. Yeah. I think, at least, are you from Georgia?
I am born and raised in Smyrna. Shout out.
Shout out Smyrna. So I was not. And so I moved around the country a lot. So I've seen a lot of different types of people, different dialects, different draws, different expressions used different ways in different parts of the country. And one thing I noticed when I got down here is that old people demand respect in the South. They demand it.
Depends on what region you're in, more so some than others.
Uh-huh.
I do also think it ties into like what their family dynamic is.
Okay.
Because I've witnessed a lot of this as well. And I love old people and babies. Like, those are my favorite.
I love old people as well. At work, I was often called the geezer whisperer or something because if a grumpy old person walks in, give me 5 minutes and I'll be their best friend. Because I can figure out how to talk to them. Yeah. And then once I get on their level and talk to them and match their attitude, I can steer the conversation in a way that comes out positive. Yeah. And people will be like, oh, that's an old person. Give it to Logan. Logan knows what he's doing.
But see, your tone has, I think the study for like face-to-face, I think your tone makes up 60% of the interaction. And so based off of like how you are talking to them, like if you talk to them like a human and not a child, right, or talk to them like they actually have some common sense, right, they're so much more likely to be like nice to you. Yeah. But I think that goes for anybody, really.
When I first moved here, I was working at Kroger when I was in school, and there was a night that I was working the late shift and I was the closing cashier, and I think I yawned in front of an old guy, which is just, you laughing means that you know where I'm going with this. It's just the audacity of me to yawn in front of that guy. He was like, you don't even know what tired is. Yeah. And I wanted to be like, bitch, shut up. Shut up.
It's like, I walked 7 miles in the snow up the hill.
He was like, I marched through the cornfields at the Gettysburg Address. You don't know what tired is. Okay, well. And you know what I did do? And I felt really good about it. This is 18-year-old Logan. This is, wow, damn near 10 years. It is 10 years ago. I think I said, did you go to college? But it wasn't that blunt, but it was like oh, okay, gotcha. What did you go to college for? And he was like, well, actually, I didn't go to college. And I was like, all right, so I'm going to college, working a full-time job, and juggling a personal life. You don't know what tired is. I told that to him to his face. And you know what he did? And honestly, he was like, you're working and going to school? Respect. Yeah. And at that moment, that dude never fucked with me again. Yeah. You can curse, by the way, if you want to. If you want to. I never told you that. Also, another thing I didn't tell you was, like, if you talk with your hands a lot, try not to do this where you bang on the table, because the people will. You can do it once if you want to. Okay. Chill.
Sound effects, Logan. You didn't know that, did you?
Give me one.
That was it.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure I'll do another one at some point.
You will, I'm sure.
It's built into my vocab at this point.
Yeah, that's true. But either way, after that interaction, that dude was just like, I respect you now. Because I had to earn his respect. Whereas in other regions of the country, not necessarily the North, because the North people are assholes too, but like people just like respected you just for being a human being.
Yeah.
And I feel like we lack a lot of that today. Like no matter where you are in the country.
Yeah. And I think a lot specifically in the South, I feel like there is kind of this like, I don't know, stigma that you have to earn your place. But like I had a conversation with an individual not too long ago, actually. And I was like, let me ask you a question. You're hired in, right? Yes. You have a paycheck. Awesome. We work at the same company. Mm-hmm. The only difference, I've been here 5 years. I know what I'm talking about. Like I shouldn't have to explain that. Like you are in my class to learn from me. Like, you don't get to put me in my place. I
have never, ever been in a class being taught by anybody and thought, this person doesn't know what they're talking about.
Oh, you'd be surprised.
Even if what they're saying is bonkers, even if I was in college and I was like, this makes no sense, I just assumed it was on me for not understanding and that the person teaching me has every qualification in the book to be there, which you do at your job. You've done the work. You're in the department. You've done that job for what? A year or two now? 2.5 years? You're the last person they should be like, are you sure? It's like,
you would be so surprised. So I have to come with receipts. I'm like, oh, you want me to show you where to find that? Let me help you.
Kill them with kindness.
Yeah. And I do it with a smile. And they're like, oh, okay. And I'm like, oh, did I earn your respect now?
I don't know if I'd be able to do your job, if I'm honest. I can talk to people for sure. But like if I put up a nice facade that I'm like good with everybody. But like if someone were to meet me with like aggression in a training class at a company that they're brand new at, I'd be like, oh, you're right. I'm wrong. You know what? Do you want the mic? Here you go.
It took some tough skin and it took some hard lessons. Not gonna lie, I've cried in the bathroom a couple of times. Like there was one class, it was just so bad, Logan, like so bad. And by day 3, like I had every like break, like somebody coming in and talking to the class, like that I could go out. I had a meeting scheduled, so I had no breather room, and we were so far behind schedule, and I was just so overwhelmed. And my boss asked me to do something else, and he was like, wait, I'm not done. And I just looked at him and I just have tears streaming down my face in the break room in front of everyone. And he's like, oh no, I'm so sorry. I was like, I just need a minute. Please stop talking at me for 5 seconds. And so I went to the bathroom and I came back out and he's like waiting in the hallway and he's like, are you okay? And I was like, I'm fine. Thank you.
Proceed with what you had to say.
Yes. I was like, what do you need me to do on top of my already busy schedule?
What if he was like, can you stay till like 9 o'clock tonight so that you can audit the somethings?
He said, don't worry, I got it covered. I was like, thank you.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice.
I think he knew like I was like one task away from having a mental breakdown.
Sure.
But then I have classes that like we had one during a wellness week and they gave us these stress dots that changed colors and everybody like couldn't get past green. But blue was like the next like great one. And then the next one was like purple, which was like ecstatic.
Yeah.
Like
where's yours purple?
Mine got to blue. And I was in the middle of a new hire training class and I told them they were my favorite. Like, you're not supposed to have favorites, but there are favorites. And I was like, guys, it's blue. And so like I have classes like that and it really kind of like just rejuvenates your soul.
Sure.
Because you're like, oh, okay, this is why I do what I do. And so that makes it all worth it.
Yeah.
A million bad classes. I'm like, okay, you have good ones. You have good ones.
Yeah. And you know, the classes are just hard because, you know, you're managing people, you don't know where they're coming from. You don't know what happened to them last night. You don't know what happened to them in the morning. So they could be coming in, not even anything against you. They could just be in a pissy attitude. Yeah. And that's not your problem per se, but you can only do what you can do to try your best to turn that frown upside down. And if you can't, then you can't.
And let's face it, nobody wants to sit through training.
No.
Like, I'm not oblivious to that. But I try to make it fun.
Mine was 2 weeks.
Yeah, no, I did out with that.
I loved that it was 2 weeks, but I mean, you know this, it used to be a week of like teller stuff and we don't do that anymore. Yeah. The most complicated teller code I think I ever did was like an SW. I forget them when not typing it on the computer. It's hard to remember them. But if it'd be like a, like a
check dispersed, cash back, split deposit.
I'm forgetting them all. It's been like 3 days and the knowledge is already gone. But essentially, like depositing it and then immediately transferring it and then like paying a loan or something. Yeah. Like that was, and there's ways that you can do that without it being complicated. You can do it one step at a time.
But it's so much easier when you can just do it all together.
It is. And it feels awesome when it does go all together and you get all the way to the receipt and you're like, yes. But then at the end when it's like transaction not balanced, you're like, fuck, where'd I mess up? What did I do? But all you have to do is mash that escape key and it just cancels everything out. So you're good. Yeah. I told you I'd be fiddling with the hat a lot.
Hey, I didn't wear accessories for that. I have my bracelets, but I took them in.
I would. Let me look at the camera. How's the hair? Is it horrible? Because I was laying on the couch. We'll do. It's not like you're a complete.
Like this again. You made it stand up.
It's not like you're a complete stranger. I was laying like sideways on the couch earlier before I got up to leave because I was watching a scary movie alone at my house in the middle of the day, and that wasn't a good move because I had to call Catherine when I went upstairs to go get the hat from the closet.
Like, just talk to me.
She was on her way to work out. And I was like, hey, what's up? And she was like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm just headed upstairs. And she was like, what's wrong? And I was like, I'm watching The Exorcist. And she was like, you're a baby. She's like, but she's like, dude, it's broad daylight. No. I was like, but it's dark up there.
Basements and upstairs. No, thank you. I'm good.
You know what I've always done? And when I first got a Twitter account, this is one of the first tweets I ever saw. I don't have Twitter anymore. Do you use Twitter?
I've never gotten into Twitter. I think I maybe created a username and then I never did anything. And I think they put me in Twitter jail because I didn't use it or something.
Maybe. Well, either way, I saw somebody tweet like, when you're running up the stairs and you're like crawling up the stairs. Dude, I do that as an adult. I like crawl up the stairs like really fast as if something's chasing me.
It's so much easier.
It is easier than 1, 2, 3.
And I argue to say it's easier on your knees and your back, you know?
It might be, honestly. Yeah. But I was watching this scary movie, which I very much so regret at this point because I know when I get back tonight, Catherine likes to go to bed very early.
Same.
So she will likely be in bed by the time I get back, which means the downstairs will be pitch black, which means I will be scared. But I finished that movie with only 20 minutes left to go. So I have to finish it.
No, Logan, that's a bad idea.
I have to finish it tonight.
No, that's a bad idea.
I don't like to leave things hanging.
Do it tomorrow. Wake up and watch it.
But then I'll be alone all day.
But that's going to be the
At least I could go to bed tonight with somebody else there.
No. So this is what you need to do. You need to do like a compliment sandwich, but with like a happy movie.
A compliment sandwich.
Yeah. Have you ever had one? It's fantastic. So you start with something good. Then you're like, this is what you need to fix. And then you end with something good. Be like, but you're doing a fantastic job. It makes a world of difference. And then they accept the criticism.
Damn, I've been given a lot of those.
But listen, with scary movies, you can watch a scary movie, but then you have to end with something like Disney. Like, not
gotta watch Moana. Like Despicable Me or something.
No, because there's villains in that. You gotta do like all sunshine and rainbows. So I'm talking like Inside Out, like the first one, not even the second one, because the anxiety storm at the end is just a lot.
It is a lot.
Yes. But like I live by myself and I'm a homeowner, and so I have multiple empty rooms in my house. And so I will hear like a creak in the floor, and I'm like, nope, I'm done. Like, I'm done. And so I will turn on like Full House in the background. Like, I just need happy sunshine rainbows.
It's like, if I'm going to get possessed, I at least need Full House to be on.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, if you're going to murder me, do it with my back turned so I can go out watching Full House.
Yeah, literally. And my poor friend, my best friend, Alexandra, she is a real one.
Shouts to Alexandra.
Yes, shouts. But I will call her. If I forget to turn on my back porch light coming home, I have to call her or Miranda, my other best friend. But I have to call either of them so that I can walk into my home. My car parked right next to my back porch. It's literally like a 3-second walk, but I cannot do it. I will not get out of that car unless somebody is on the phone. She asked me, she's like, what am I supposed to do?
Well, it's also, I mean, with you being a young female by yourself, you are small.
I am smallish.
You're small. For someone to break into your house and wait for you in your home is not a reality that isn't far-fetched.
Right.
It happens to people
Right.
every day, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
So honestly, with you going in your home at night by yourself, that is probably a good measure. Even without the light being a factor at all, it's probably good measure for you to do that regardless.
Yeah, and I had a kind of like a scary situation happen last year, and I called Miranda and I was crying because I'm such a scaredy cat. I don't like the dark. Like, I don't like scary stuff. Like, I'm the biggest chicken. And so she's like, okay, we're getting you an alarm system. Like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah,
and
you need to get like Ring cameras and stuff.
I do. I have one on my front and my back door.
Yep.
But then I have my alarm that I can set or disable from anywhere. And so that has really given me a huge like sense of peace, because Miranda's a mom of 2 children. And so after a certain time, I'm not calling her to wake her up and disturb her minimum hours of sleep. Alex stays up so late. And so there have been so many times where I'll call, I hear something in the kitchen. So she's like, okay, stay on the phone with me. And so I will like army crawl through the house, convinced that there is somebody there to get me. She's like, okay, Britt, like we need to put some like safety measures in place. And so I haven't had to call with like an SOS in a long time. But
that's good. That's good progress.
Scary movies.
I love them so much. I love the adrenaline, but I hate the effects afterwards, which is what I experienced before I left.
Do you get bad dreams?
No, not from scary movies.
I'm jealous.
My bad dreams are always weird. My bad dreams always involve people that I know in real life.
I hate that.
And
it feels so real.
Yeah, it does. And it's like, it's like my bad dreams aren't like scary things. Well, I mean, they're scary in their own right. Like I get in a car accident with somebody that I know. Yeah. And I wake up and I'm like, I need to text that person. I don't know. I do have this one bad dream that I've remembered my entire life.
Same. I have one from when I was in like first grade.
I meant like when I was like maybe 10, first grade. I guess that wasn't long ago for you.
My godson is 9 and he's in 4th grade this year. So first grade, I would have been 6 or 7.
I don't know what, this is a fucked up dream. So if you're real sensitive to shit, fast forward a minute or so. But I had a dream where I was in like a giant warehouse and everybody I ever knew ever, whether it was friends, family, coworkers, whatever, they were all in that warehouse with me. And there was this person that came to me and they were like, you have to pick 5 people to kill for me to let you out of here.
No.
And I had to pick 5 people to kill.
Oh, I would have died.
Yeah.
I would have died right there.
It's either spend an eternity in here or you have to pick 5 people.
That's awful.
It was awful.
Terrifying.
I woke up and I had the dream 2 nights in a row. It was like previously on Logan's dream the second night. And it was like, it was horrible. And I haven't forgotten it. It was like when I was like 12, haven't forgotten it.
Oh, that's why you don't need to watch The Exorcist when you leave here.
Well, you know, it's probably not good because I recorded an episode with the psychic who's actually the episode that's going to come out right before yours. So it'll be fun. She told me that watching scary movies is a way to invite negative energy and negative spirits to you.
Okay, reason 2, why not finish the Exorcist? You were making my point for me, Logan.
Yeah, well, you know, it's like when I was in high school, I told her this too. When I was in high school, the movie The Conjuring came out. And
never seen it.
Oh,
no
so
plans to either.
Good. So good. So good. Not even so scary, but like a good movie. It's like their priority was... Conjuring's probably in my top 10 favorite movies ever. It being scary is just a plus, but it's almost like they sat down and they're like, okay, this is a real family that had a real tough time. We're going to make a movie about that. And then we're going to make it scary.
Is it based on a real story?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, no.
I could send you so many things.
Do not. Don't you do it. I will block you so fast.
Well, either way, forget where I was going with it, but either way, so that's a killer movie. If you ever decide to get into scary movies, The Conjuring is where you need to start. Hey guys, I want to talk to you a little bit about the company that makes your morning drive happen every week. Are you looking to elevate your business and your brand? Hammerhead Creations is here to help. They offer top-tier marketing services, including social media management, website design, and Google page optimization, ensuring your business reaches the right audience. Whether it's a side hustle or your full-time grind, their expert team, me, is ready to help you grow. Plus, if you're into podcasting like me, Hammerhead Creations offers full support for both in-house shows and external podcast creation. From concept to production, we will help you bring your ideas to life. Visit www.hammerheadcreations.com and discover how we can take your business or your podcast or both to the next level. Hammerhead Creations, swim with the big sharks.
I do have a question for you.
Yeah, what's up?
So I was a Guys on Tap listener, so shouts to that. That was
Shouts to Guys on Tap.
That was the funniest podcast I've ever listened to. I used to love the drafts that y'all would do, and I think you did it on either Disney and Pixar or one or the other. So I know what, I don't remember obviously, but I know what picks made it to the end. If you had to right now pick 3 movies to watch for the rest of your life and that was it, what would your 3 be? Because I know you're a big movies guy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a really tough question, but I love that question.
And if you want, I have categories because I refuse to be removed from my categories. So Christmas, whole category.
All right.
Okay.
We'll go Christmas movies. Christmas is coming up. Yeah. Let's do more categories. This is fun.
Okay. So Christmas is one.
All right.
And then I have Disney and Pixar as one.
Okay.
And then I just have general, either classics or feel-good movies, just ones that have been around for generations now.
Okay. For Christmas, I'm running Jim Carrey's Grinch.
For first or third?
Oh.
Are we starting bottom or top?
Are we drafting right now?
Yes.
Oh, shit. Okay.
I'm locked and loaded.
I mean, I have my... Oh, God. Hold on. Let me see. Okay. Who goes first?
Oh, you. I want to hear this.
Wait, so are we doing it like a draft where I give my answer first, then you, then me, then you? Or am I giving my 3, 2, 1?
Do 3, I'll give you my 3.
Then I'll go. My first pick's the Grinch. I love the Grinch.
Okay.
Love the Grinch.
Okay, so that's number 1 spot for you.
Sure.
Okay.
I don't know. None of them have an answer. These are just 3 Christmas movies.
There is an order. You have one that you lean towards more. I know you do.
Then the Grinch would be the number 1 pick.
But it's the Jim Carrey's How the Grinch Stole Christmas?
Yes, How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Fair. Mine is number 1 spot, Elf, all day. I will not take any arguments against it.
I'll argue against it.
No, I'm not
you ready?
doing this with you, Logan.
Elf is so unfunny.
No, shut down.
Listen. Here's what I love about Elf.
What?
The first half of the movie is gold. I want 2 hours of Will Ferrell dressed as an elf, thinking he's an elf, running around New York City doing crazy funny shit. I don't need the whole family dynamic. He's trying to impress his dad. I don't need any of that shit.
Logan.
I just want...
But how does he get back to the North Pole?
He doesn't. It's just a funny comedy.
No, he does because he becomes Papa Elf. He is the next Papa Elf.
Rolls eyes heavily.
Logan!
It is so overrated.
So offended
Are
right
you?
now.
Do you feel appalled?
Yes. My blood is boiling.
It sounds like I hate Elf. If Elf is on, I will watch it absolutely. But if it's in the second half of the movie, I'll flip through it easily.
No.
The only good part of the second half of the movie is when he's going, "Oop, there it is," on the mail counter in the basement of the building. That scene is so fucking funny.
It's so good.
But okay, Elf,
so
good
number
answer.
1 seed. What's your number 2?
Let's go Christmas Vacation.
A hot take. I don't love that movie. However, the grandma in it, love her.
Is it because it's raunchy? Are you a raunchy movie person?
I'm not, but also last year was the first time I ever saw Christmas Vacation. Miranda was like, okay, this needs to be fixed. You have to watch this. But I just go back and forth between my 3 favorites. And she's like, you have to watch something else. And I was like, no. And she's like, oh, yes, you are.
Wow.
So last year was the first time I've watched it. So I only have 1 watch under my belt.
Okay.
I will watch it again this season.
Okay.
But I'm not breaking down the doors to get to it.
It's one of those that as time goes on, you'll notice a new joke that you didn't catch the last time. And you'll think, wow, I can't believe I didn't get that last time. That's so clever.
Okay.
It's good. I love that movie.
Okay,
I've watched it since I was 9.
I'll give you feedback after I watch it again this season.
Okay. Thank you.
Now, my number 2 was your number 1. Jim Carrey's How the Grinch Stole Christmas. But it's only because when I was little, it scared me a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
A little bit.
Oh, yeah. I'd be lying if I said it didn't either.
But when I tell you, I'm sound like such a nerd. When I get ready in the mornings, like when he's like, ooh, eh.
That's it. I'm not going.
That's it, I'm not going.
You do a pretty good Grinch.
Thank you.
I love. So they want to get to know me, do they?
I love the Grinch so much.
I used to prank call people when I was a little younger, but do it as the Grinch, like, is your refrigerator running?
Back, I'll catch it. So yes, I love that one. Okay, what is your third pick?
Oh, it makes me so happy just thinking about it. I love that movie.
But you know what sucks? Elf and How the Grinch Stole Christmas is not on a single streaming service currently because they're fighting over the contracts like they do every year. And I want to be able to watch a Christmas movie in October or September if I want to. My birthday is in August. I want to be able to celebrate by watching Christmas movies, and I can't watch my two favorites.
Wow.
Really a bummer.
Very big bummer. My last pick. There's one answer that's jumping out at me, but I'm trying to make sure I'm not missing anything.
Fair. And you can have an honorable mention if you need one.
I'm not going to go any honorable mention, and I'm just going to run it then. Because if I can't think of it, then
it's not worth it.
It's not worth it,
You know?
but I'm going to go the Polar Express.
Oh,
I love the Polar Express.
I don't love that animation style. There is something about like
It's kinda creepy,
not
isn't it?
being a cartoon, but not being real life.
It's kind of creepy.
It doesn't sit well with me.
Mm-hmm.
But my favorite scene is when they're delivering the hot chocolate. And they're like, hot chocolate.
Hey, do you know what kind of train this is? Do ya?
My godson, anytime he loves hot chocolate. He just loves like warm beverages in general.
Sure.
And so during the Christmas time, we always get hot chocolate when we go places. And so we can't just say regular hot chocolate. We have to announce it how they do on the train. Okay, so my third pick, and this is very specific. It's out of a trilogy.
Okay.
But hot take, the second one is better than the
Oh, I know where you're
first.
going with it.
What do you think it is?
It's the Santa Claus.
Yes!
Yeah.
Yes! I love the robot Santa.
Yeah.
He's like, Santa loves the cocoa.
Yeah. Santa Claus 2 is goated, I think.
So good.
Very good. I like it.
How you feel about Elf is how I feel about the first half of the first Santa Claus movie. We don't need it. I don't need it. Just put them in the North Pole and let's get started. You know?
I get that. I do. Those are good lists. What about Disney? I'm curious now.
Okay.
My original answer, though, 3 movies that I could watch for the rest of my life is going to be The Lion King, in no particular order.
Okay.
The Lion King, Jurassic Park, and Dumb and Dumber.
Okay. My 3, just any kind of movies, no particular order either. And do not judge me on this. Forrest Gump, The Notebook, and Titanic.
Those are very solid picks, but you can cry in each one of those movies.
Sometimes you need a good cry. It's okay.
Do you cry a lot?
I don't like to.
How many times a week do you cry?
I don't know that I cry weekly. But like if I'm in a sad mood, then tears are flowing.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes you just need a good cry. You know?
You do.
Because you got to feel the hard stuff to feel the good stuff.
I like crying in the shower because it doesn't make me feel like I'm crying.
I don't, because then I just start weeping. It just makes me more sad.
Your neighbors hear your echo of you crying in the shower, and they're like, "What is going on over
Well,
there?"
my only neighbor is a church, and they just stay talking in the parking lot all day. They ain't hearing me. But okay, so Disney.
Yeah, Disney.
3. Let's see. I don't think I can put these in a specific order because
That's cool.
It just kind of rotates.
Mm-hmm.
Moana, the first Frozen, and recent addition Encanto. I love those 3 so much, and I think it's in large part because I love the soundtracks to them. But
can you sense the aura of this room and how disappointed I am with this?
I do. I see it all over your
Moana,
face.
Frozen, and Encanto.
Don't say it
First
like
of all,
that.
Encanto is not good at all. Bad
Logan,
movie.
have you
Bad
watched
movie.
it?
Absolutely. Bad
No.
movie.
Second bad opinion of the night.
Bad movie. Not even like Elf, just bad movie.
No, in
Not
what ways?
not entertaining at all.
How?
I can't get it.
I can't do this with you.
I
When it
can't.
first came out, I probably watched it once a day for like a month. I love it so much.
Why?
It's just so sweet. And like Mirabelle.
I bet you loved Coco a lot too, didn't you?
It was okay. It was
Overrated
okay.
movie too.
But the lesson it teaches you about Dia de los Muertos is really cool because I took Spanish in high school and fell in love with the culture. And I think it's a really good depiction of that holiday. But Encanto, Mirabelle, you know, she's like the odd duck out, but she still does everything she can to make everybody's life easier, and she tries to make people happy, and she's just like there for everybody, and then she just gets used and abused by Abuela.
Do you relate to this woman?
Maybe.
Do you feel this way, Brittany?
I don't think so, but she's not your typical heroine, right? And so I feel like children are always taught like you have to have this like big outlandish superpower, and you have to be the most popular and the prettiest and the strongest. And like she's clearly showing you like she's pretty mid, right? Like she's
Very
pretty
mid.
average as far as characters go.
Character and movie. Yep.
But she ends up saving the day, and she was still able to be there for all of her family. And when Antonio, the little boy that got his gift when he needed somebody, he didn't go to mom or dad or siblings. He went to Mirabelle because she was real and honest with him, and she wasn't trying to be somebody that she wasn't. Okay. So
Understood.
that is my take on Encanto.
I understand. I respectfully hate your opinion.
Hot take,
Encanto.
I don't like Lion King. Not kidding.
I've never wanted to strangle somebody more.
I
Why?
don't like the live one. I don't like the animated one. I don't like the Broadway show really. Like, I don't know. It feels so dark. I think this is dumb. It streams back like I don't love the colors like red and orange. They feel very aggressive and mean to me. And like the whole color scheme of the movie is all reds and oranges. And I'm just like, this just feels very aggressive.
That's a very interesting argument because that is true. Red and orange and yellow, or maybe less yellow, but red and orange are aggressive colors.
They are.
And the movie is very red and very orange.
Yeah, and I think that's why I don't like it. Now, the monkey, he's hilarious. I love the monkey.
Put respect on Rafiki's name.
Well, I didn't want to missay his name. I wasn't confident enough to say it.
Wow.
I didn't want to sound like an
You
idiot.
don't like the Lion King?
I don't.
Tell me you're young as fuck without telling me you're young as hell.
I was born in 98. I'm not that young. I'm closer to 30 than I am 20.
So are we all.
Not necessarily.
So am I.
True.
I'm closer to 40 than I am to 10. Am I? I don't know.
That was not the same.
No, it wasn't. But anyway, okay, so mine are The Lion King.
Okay.
This is tough. Tarzan.
That soundtrack is good.
Banging. Throwback to Guys on Tap.
Yes.
Banging. Why am I struggling? Sky High. No, I'm just
That
playing.
was so good.
I love Sky High, but it's not in my top 3.
It was a good movie, though. I loved when they came out with that.
They're doing a sequel.
Shut up.
Original cast. Everybody's coming back.
Yes.
Because none of them are doing anything noteworthy.
That's amazing, though. I'm so tired of people trying to replace the cast. Like, let's just acknowledge that they're not here. Let's just create a new spot. Don't put somebody else
Why
in.
am I forgetting the Emperor's New Groove?
Oh, that's so good.
Yes. Tarzan, Emperor's New Groove, and The Lion King.
Cusco's Poison. That was meant for Cusco. It's so
Right. I'm going to watch that movie. That's when I'll fall asleep, too.
Yes. See, that's
After
a
The
good
Exorcist.
one.
After
No.
The Exorcist.
Tummy tax. It's coming.
It's the compliment sandwich thing. I'm going to finish this very negative movie, and I'm going to end the night with The Emperor's New Groove, which is also insanely dark.
It can be, but
She tried to murder him.
but in like a funny way.
She had the king,
Yzma
prince,
as a
whatever,
cat.
whacked.
Can we just get over like how creepy she looked?
Yeah. We all know a woman that looks like Yzma, though.
Do we? I need hints.
No, we don't.
Oh,
Now I'm really thinking about it. Do I? Do I know?
I don't think I do.
Maybe. I don't know.
I feel like Yzma is like the older, shriveled up version of Ursula.
Shriveled. I hate that word.
Oh, look at her face and like her neck.
If I were to pick a Disney princess movie, though, however, I love The Little Mermaid. I do love that movie.
Good.
Unapologetically love The Little Mermaid. Why? Don't know. But I do. I've always loved that movie.
That's fair. I love Tangled. I think that's a fantastic movie. Don't.
I like
look at me that
Tangled.
way.
I like Tangled. I like
I
Tangled.
was about to say you are not allowed to not like
What?
all of
Okay,
them.
give me your other ones. Oh, those were it?
Yeah, those were it.
Oh,
Frozen.
can you believe I already
Encanto.
forgot them because the opinion is just so invalid.
That's so sad for you. You live a sad existence, Logan.
Oh boy, dude. Wow, you're funny.
Thanks. I think I'm hilarious.
You are pretty funny.
I make myself laugh on a regular basis.
Are you gonna do softball for kickball?
If it comes back.
If it comes back.
I'm game. Now listen, I know my role. Like, I think you have to acknowledge your strengths and weaknesses. I am not good at either sport. However, third base at kickball, nailed it.
Yep.
Dominated. Almost got taken out.
You did almost.
Twice my size.
You did almost get
That was
bulldozed.
so scary. He caught me in the ball. He's like, don't tell HR. Don't tell HR. I was like, I'm good. Put me down. But yeah, softball, I know that my role is the cheerleader in the dugout. So I just break out the high school palms and I'm good.
You're just the cheerleader, period.
Pretty much.
Were you a cheerleader?
I was.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
My entire high school career, it was one of my most favorite things. I will say, do not love basketball because basketball season during cheer sucked. But football, all in.
Really?
Yeah, I also swam for a year just to stay in shape. Did not shave but 5 seconds off my time, which is really bad if you're unfamiliar with swim.
I did not know where that sentence was going.
So, like, they put me in the injured lane. I was so slow.
The injured
I'm
lane.
not kidding. Not kidding. Not my proudest moment, but guess what? I showed up to every meet. I showed up to every practice. I was so bad that they put me in an event that doesn't even get counted for, like, county qualifiers. They put me in an 8-person relay. So you swim a 25 meter, which is one
time down.
One time down. It was so bad. But I was in great shape for cheer the next season. And then I managed the men's varsity lacrosse team for 2 years. That was my favorite.
Wow.
Yeah.
You like to be involved.
I do. I don't think I like to, like, do nothing.
I was going to say, where's that come from?
I grew up as an only child for 9 years until my brother came. And so I spent a lot of time by myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so it wasn't until high school that I really got to do sports and things.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I had a best friend that I would go and spend the weekends with. But, like, I just spent so much time cooped up at the house. And so I think as an adult that I'm able to do things, I don't like being alone. I don't like silence. Like, I don't have to be doing anything. Like, we could just be riding around doing errands. I just want to be with you. Like, if you've ever taken the 5 love languages quiz,
Mm-hmm.
mine is quality time.
Okay.
Like, I don't care what we're doing. Like, we don't have to be talking or anything. I just want to exist with you.
Right. Yeah.
So I think maybe that's where it stems from. But I also just really like people. So I want to be friends with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And granted, I'm a lot for a lot of people. So I'm not everybody's cup of tea. And that's okay. But I think you don't know what interests you have if you don't try different things.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think maybe that too.
Yeah.
So long answer.
No, but I mean, I think you're right about that. You don't know what you don't. You just don't know what you don't know.
For sure.
So how do you know that you're just not? How did I know I wasn't going to be addicted to this? I'd never tried it. And then one day I tried it and I was like, boom, hooked. Coolest
habit ever, by the way.
Nah.
Like, for sure. You have your own, like, light up switchboard. That is so fascinating to me. I also, to add on to that answer, I am easily entertained and fascinated by things that don't matter, that people don't care about. And I'm like, that is so cool. I want to know more about that.
That's why I do this.
Yeah.
It's because I just like to get to know everything.
This
Constantly curious.
A fun career. Like, if you could, like, make a living off of this, it'd be
It's possible.
Yeah.
We'll see if we get there.
Is that the goal?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
That's the end goal for
well,
sure.
just know I'm in on the beginning. Just kidding. We're a few years into this.
Yeah. 6 years in.
Hey, lucky number
You're
6.
going to be
right?
episode 390, I think.
Yes. I love increments of 5. So, like a 5 or a 10 interval.
I
I'm
agree.
here for it.
I agree.
Do you have a favorite number?
I'm tempted to say 14.
Okay. I don't get many double digits when I ask that.
What do you get? Like 7, 4,
7,
3?
3. I get 11 sometimes.
11.
My favorite is 5.
Why?
Increments of 5 are fantastic. 5, 10, 15, so much easy to count. I think it looks nice.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of looks like itself. Like, nothing else can really be mistaken for it. And
5.
I don't know. It's just a good number.
Yeah, nothing else really looks like a 5.
I know.
Except for an S.
Yeah, but that's letter.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know why. It's just always been my fave. I would say 5 or 3 is a close second.
14 has just always been like my cubby number
Yes.
or my desk number a lot growing up. Coincidentally, was always 14. Although, like, with the last name Lewis, I was always like in the middle of the
Dead
class.
center. Yeah.
So if the class had 30 people in it, 14 is not out of the ordinary Funny enough, like when I went to KSU, my KSU badge ended in 1-4. And I found
hilarious.
that really funny. Graduated high school in 2014.
Hey, 2016. 2016.
What was the most popular song out when you graduated high school?
Running Through the Six with My Woes. It's literally on our class shirt.
Really?
Or Cheerleader by, I think it's Pharrell Williams. I think he sings it.
Maybe.
They had a band dance to it. Over it.
Yeah.
I still can't listen to it.
Were you popular in high school?
I don't know. I knew a lot of people. And
were you getting invited to the Ragers on the weekends?
Maybe.
Yeah? Were you a partier in high school? I mean, you were a cheerleader.
I never got to go to anything, though. Because, like, a lot of times I was, like, babysitting. And granted, I got into some trouble in high school that I just...
Did you?
I made bad choices. And so I was just in with the wrong crowd. Yeah. But...
Really?
Yeah.
Do tell.
I don't know. My parents were going through some things at the time. And so I was like, bump this. And I just kind of got a wild hair and got in trouble real quick and was on lockdown for lockdown with my parents for like half my high school career. But like my senior year felt so lonely to me. Because
you're very vague. I assume that means you don't want to go into it.
Probably.
On mic.
Yeah.
Because I'm definitely asking you when we're done.
Yeah, off mic, I got you.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, okay.
You unlocked something. I forgot. I was like,
now I got to write this down so I don't forget to ask. Ask about...
Just put high school, I'll know.
Trouble. In quotation marks. When I sent you the questionnaire thing...
That was so hard to fill out.
Really?
Yes.
You put on there hidden talents.
Yeah. Do you have any?
I can put my fist in my mouth.
Shut up.
I'm not going to do it, though.
Oh, I need to see
I mean,
that.
I can, but my fist has gotten bigger, I feel like, as I've aged. I don't know if my mouth has gotten bigger.
What if you, like, dislocate your jaw? And then what?
That would be tough.
Who's your emergency contact? Catherine?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If I dislocate my jaw right now, although Catherine's in Cartersville right now.
Or if you get your fist
I'd call my dad. My dad.
Well, you can't call nobody if your fist is stuck. I'm like, hello, Mr. Lewis. Hi. You don't know me.
But I was recording a podcast with Logan, and he got his fist stuck in his mouth, and we need medical attention.
I'm really good with parents. I'll be like, everything's fine. We have it under control. We're right by the hospital. I'll meet you there.
Oh, yeah, we are right by the hospital.
Yeah,
that works. Shout out Fireworks for being right by Kennestone. Maybe I could do it. I don't know. Let's try it.
You don't have to.
You don't want me to, do you?
You don't have to.
Should I?
I mean, I'm very curious, but I really feel like you're going to dislocate your jaw. Oh my gosh! That's wild.
It's about as deep as it. No, it's about as deep as it's going, folks.
Yeah,
I couldn't get the thumb in there, but that's about as far as the fist is going. Do you have any?
I don't actually know. I don't find myself as a very talented person.
That's not true. It depends on what you mean by talent.
I like to sing.
Are you good? Decent?
I feel like everybody that says they're a good singer isn't actually a good singer, you know?
But, like, can you hold your own?
Yeah, I mean, I sing in our church choir. I love a carpool karaoke jam sesh. You know what? I know what my hidden talent is. I have an affinity for shocking people. And so as a youngster, I would learn raps to various songs. And then as they came on the radio, I would just belt it out driving down the road with friends. And like to see people's audible like gasp and reaction to me being able to rap a whole verse whether
or
it's
something.
Eminem or Luda or whoever.
Lude?
That's actually one of my nicknames, believe it or not.
Luda?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, because when I was little, the song, what was it? It's like 369, that one. So I would walk around the house and be like, Luda. And I told my friends about that. And so every birthday, every Christmas, they sign my cards. Love you, Luda.
Oh, that's cute. That's cute.
But so maybe raps would be a hidden talent.
Okay.
I don't know that I have anything else that's like super interesting as far as talents. Nothing comes to mind. I just love to hear what other people think their talents are. But yeah, so.
I'm wondering if I can do anything else. I can successfully sit on the same place at home. Like, I can successfully sit on the couch all day without getting up.
Okay.
I don't know if that's a talent or just me being a piece of shit.
I feel like that's just like, it shows your stamina, right? Because you're like, you know what? I'm committed to this.
My stamina?
Because, I mean, let's face it, after a while, like your legs start to hurt or your back or your hips or whatever.
Yeah.
And so, like, being able to just stay there, yeah, you're committed.
You put another thing on here that I really want to ask you about, too. You put bad online dating stories.
My goodness.
Do you have some fun ones?
Yes.
Let's hear them.
Okay.
I love a good date story.
Dating apps are trash. Okay.
Hey, I met Catherine on Hinge.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
The app designed to be deleted. That's what their slogan is.
I've never made a Hinge profile. Should I?
You should. It works.
Okay.
There's less what we call fuckboys. I don't know if that's a term still used by the youth.
Yeah.
And there's less of those on Hinge.
Listen, the
meaningful
amount
relationships.
Of terrible first dates I have been on. Like, I try to make sure that I'm not like a judgy person. So like my big thing is like, be honest with me. I can't stand a liar. I can't stand a cheater, and I can't stand a thief. But if you are starting off like any type of relationship, whether it's a friendship or romantic, whatever, with a lie, like you've lost all credibility in my book. And so I went on a date. He came out to Hiram. I live in Dallas. And first of all, I'm too nice. The amount of times I've had to drive to where the guy lives or resides out of his convenience, that should be a red flag right there. But I'm like, well, maybe he's tired. And I make all the excuses. Yeah, done with that. So he met me at Hiram and we went to a Mexican restaurant. First of all, without me even asking, he's like, I don't drink, I don't smoke, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, oh, okay. I mean, to each their own. Like, personally, I don't drink very often, if at all, and I've never smoked. So when we got there, he flies his wallet out, like slams it down to the waiter, doesn't say hello, anything, 2 Coors Lights. First of all, Coors Light, come on, like,
we're at a Mexican restaurant. Give me a margarita.
Right. Or it's not a light beer, right?
Right.
Like, get a lager or something. I don't know. Anyway, so I was like, oh, you do drink? And he was like, yeah, got a problem. And I was like,
whoa.
Nope, sure don't.
You met him at this restaurant?
Yes.
I would have been like, I've got to pee. And then.
Well, this was like when I was like first on the dating scene. Yeah. I was fresh out of like a serious relationship and I was like just trying to test the waters. And he was so rude to the waitstaff. And I was like, I'm so sorry for his behavior. And at some point.
You said that?
Yes. In front of him. Like, how dare you? That is a human being working for a living.
Good for you.
Like, don't you dare disrespect somebody.
Good for you. That's awesome.
Like, that, I'm telling you, disrespect, it'll get me real quick. And so the whole date, Logan, from the time I parked my vehicle to the time I was back in my vehicle to leave, 47 minutes. Clocked it. I was like, I'm done. Not doing this. The entire time.
What was his name? Say his name.
What was his name?
He won't hear it.
What was his name?
Sounds like a Julian.
No, it was something. I was about to say his last
Seth.
name. I don't need to say his last name.
You do know his last name, though?
Yeah.
Damn.
What is it?
It's okay.
It starts with a C.
Cameron? Caleb?
No. Colby, maybe? Or Colt? No. Colton?
Colton?
Something with the C.
Okay.
But I'll tell you his last name off air.
Okay.
But
yeah, I want to see what this guy looks like now.
It was just terrible. But he was on his phone, like, scrolling. And I was like, you know what? I'm out of, like, real questions to ask you. And I was like, so what's your favorite state you've been to? He was like, oh, yeah, I mean, whatever you think. I don't know. But that's not even the worst one. So I, like, deleted the app. I was like, nope, online dating is not for me.
Do you know his first name? For real? But you're just not saying it?
No.
Because I want you to look him up because I want to see what he looks like.
He came up on my Facebook the other day, actually. And I was like, why are you there?
Well, we can do it afterwards.
Okay. Yeah, I know his last name for sure. And I know his first name starts with a C.
Okay.
But that wasn't even the worst one. So my first date after that, I gave it like 6-8 months. I was
47
like, you know
minutes and you were
47 minutes.
You give it 6 months in between?
Logan, it was so bad. I was like, you know what? Maybe I don't know what the dating scene is like.
And
like,
honestly,
I'm good.
before we move on, to this next date, I just want to do a public service announcement.
Oh, no.
If you are rude to wait staff at a restaurant, fuck you. I have family members that are rude to wait staff, and it makes me so uncomfortable whenever we're getting together for someone's birthday or a group dinner or something. I know that these people are going to be rude to the wait staff, and it cringes me to my soul. And Catherine knows it. She hates it too. It's so uncomfortable. As a dude who worked at a restaurant for a few years, don't be rude to wait staff. They're not going to do anything like spit in your food. No. I made that joke on my first day. I was like, what do you do if the people are mean? Do you spit in their food? And they're like, no, are you crazy? And I was like, oh, okay. So they really don't do that.
No, they don't. They're literally
but it's so shitty.
Yes. And like, if you are rude to a random stranger, like you're for sure going to talk to me the same way.
Oh, for sure.
You know, like the honeymoon phase does not last forever.
Oh, dude, if you're rude to strangers, you got to be rude to your spouse or something.
For sure.
I mean,
and like just the blatant disregard that he is a human being, like bringing you food, like providing you a service.
You apologized in front of him. What was his reaction?
He was like, yeah, and he did not care. And that's
what did he wear to this date? Do you remember?
Have you ever seen the movie Spy Kids?
Yeah.
You know the thumb people that walk through the second movie, like the bodyguards?
Yeah.
He looked like that in real person, Logan. He had, I'm not kidding, he had like holy shorts on with like these beat up flip-flops and this like ratty t-shirt. Like
he wore flip-flops to a date?
A first date. And so like I didn't dress up, like I had jeans and like a nice shirt. But like you can put in a little effort. Just a little.
Okay. Public service announcement number 2. I give my friends crap about this. I don't know why I feel this way, but I'm about to come out on a hot topic here. I hate flip-flops.
Listen, flip-flops are not a good look, typically. Now, at the beach, at the pool, I'm here for it. At home, awesome. But for a first date, maybe not. You know, but like to each their own. I forgot where I was going. What was I telling you?
Second date.
Oh my gosh.
6 to 8 months you waited.
Because it was that bad. And so I like waited, like talked to this person a long time. Like we had phone conversations, like we texted a lot. Fantastic conversationalist. I made a dumb move.
He was a fantastic conversationalist?
Over the phone.
Were? Okay.
He was over the phone.
Okay.
So he was like, we set up a date, and then I randomly got super cheap Braves tickets, but they were such good seats. And I was like, hey, I know we were supposed to go play mini golf. Would you be up to going to a Braves game? And granted, I typically would not sign myself up for a date that lasts hours upon hours, especially as a first date. But I really wanted to go see the Braves, and I liked this guy, so I didn't want to like cancel the date. So I was like, it'll be great. Hopeful thinking, right? So he was like, well, why don't you just meet me and then we'll just drive together. Should not have done that. I should have just met him at the Battery. I know, I already got a lecture. I know, I'm not an idiot. No. So I get there. Looks nothing like his pictures. Like his pictures were probably 5 to 10 years old.
How old was this guy? He
was older than I was, like 2-3 years older. And that was 3 years ago now. So he was probably my age now, 26, 27. So we get in the car and he's like not speaking to me. And I was like, well, maybe he's just nervous. And he was like, I'm going to put on some music. And I was like, oh, okay, well, you're driving. Like, do you want me to just like put on whatever? And he was like, no, I want to use my music. I was like, okay, sure. He puts on like slow alternative jazz.
Okay.
And I was like, awesome. I was like, would it be okay, like, if we, like, do a couple of different music styles just to kind of see? Because also, like, we're going to a baseball game. Like, let's get hype, you know?
Yeah.
And, like, I like most types of music. Typically, I lean towards, like, country, contemporary, R&B, really big into 90s R&B. That's my favorite. Pop. I like rock. I like...
Rap.
Yeah, I love Raph. But he was dead set on this jazz, and I was like falling asleep. And like it was not a short drive. And then he's like driving like a crazy person. And I was like, hey, for the, like both of our safety, like let me just use your phone. Like I won't look at anything, like, but you drive and I do this. I was like, otherwise, like we can just turn around. I was like, you're making me feel uncomfortable, like with the way you're driving. And he was like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm just nervous. So I was like, okay, well, no need to be nervous. So we get to the game. He has not said but like 3 sentences to me. And you know, I'm a talker. So I'm trying to like converse with him, not getting anywhere. We get out of the vehicle and he wanted to eat while we were at the game. And I was like, awesome. And so I said, well, why don't we just find our seats and then we'll go get some food?
Right. The logical move that most people take.
Right.
Find your seats first.
Right. Put your stuff down, like, you know, whatever. And so we walk in and he's made us late because he also drives like a grandpa, like 10 under in the fast lane. Like he's one of those people.
Oh, fuck this guy.
Should have known.
So many red flags.
Yeah, so many red flags. And I was like, I'm stuck. I've made a mistake. And so we get there and he's like, oh, we're going to miss the first inning. Like we need to go. And he snaps at me like to come on. And I'm like,
what do you mean snaps? Like literally is like, come on, Brittany, let's go.
Yes. Like
wow.
He's walking and he's like, come on. And I was like, surely he didn't mean to do that. And I work with children. I don't even snap at children, Logan.
Yeah.
Like, so we're walking. We get into a massive crowd. Like, if you've ever been to Truist Park, shout out.
Yeah.
It is packed on all sides.
Yeah.
And he starts like bulldozing people over to get to the seats. The game has not started yet. The game has not started. Also, we're not first up to bat. Nothing is going to happen that we care about. I guarantee it. And so he is doing it again. He snaps at me for a second time. And I just look at him. I was like, excuse me. And he was like, I mean, just come on. Like, we are late. And I was like, that's fine. I was like, I'm not pushing people out of my way to get to my chair. And so he was like, well, we're just going to get to the seat and then we'll talk about what we want for food. And I was like, I can stop on the way. Like, I just needed a second. He was like, no, I'll get it. You just come to the seat. And I'm like, okay. So we go and sit down. Put our stuff down. And I was like, hey, I'm going to go get some food. Do you want something? He's like, no, I'll go get it. Let's just get through this first inning first. Sure. No problem. We get to like the 4th inning. I get up. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go get food. And he was like, no. I'll just go. Just after this person's up to bat. And so at this point, I'm just fuming. I'm like, I'm so irritated. I should have just went, right?
You should have just left. Fuck this guy.
Also, I had friends at the game, Logan, that I could have ran home with.
I hope he hears this.
I hope
Fuck
he does too.
this dude.
His name was Andrew, and he's the worst, and he looks like a bug. He looks like one of the stick people, like from Bug's Life. Like he had like his little tiny head and like his little.
I need to see what this guy looks like after this too.
I don't know if I have him on any social.
Do you know his last name?
I don't. I just know his name was Andrew, and he's the worst. But anyway, so we're sitting there, and at the top of the 7th, also the Braves are playing horrible. It is 0-0 the entire game. We get to the when they do like the last call for the beers and stuff.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to go to the bathroom. I'm like, okay. At this point, I still have not eaten, and I'm just on principle now. Like, I'm not getting up. Like, I'm not going to get food. I've tried multiple times. Like, I'm not doing this. And so he gets up, goes to the bathroom, comes back, Logan, with food for himself, and sits down. And I just look over at him. I was like, oh, you did not. The person in front of me, like the 2 people, they turn around, and they're like, good first date, huh? I was like, yeah, you want to trade? He was like, no, I'm good. You can keep him. It was so bad. And so
brings back food for only him. What a motherfucker, dude.
I had mentioned 3 times. Oh, by the way, I got the Braves tickets because he said he was going to buy dinner. And the tickets were like $10 a piece. So I paid $20 for the tickets. Oh, well. So he was like, okay, I got dinner. No, he had dinner for himself. And one of my good friends at the time is like a few sections over with her sister and their boyfriends. And I'm texting her like, I'm so heated. She brings me food and he looks at me. He's like, I would have gotten you food. Just say something.
Oh, I would have punched
the table. I could have flipped it. So,
I want to assault this man.
Get this. The game went into 12 innings. It would
You stayed the whole time?
End. Oh, no. Everybody's getting up and leaving, and he's talking all this crap. You don't leave a baseball game until it's finished. You stay till the end. The other team gets a run. We're home team, so we get one more chance at bat. As soon as they get the other run, he's like, all right, let's go. He gets up and leaves, and I stay seated. He's like, no, really, like, we're leaving. And I rode with him. I should have just, on principle, been like, no, I'm not doing it. But I was so mad at this point. I was like, fine. And I, like, stood up. We get out of the parking lot. Fireworks start erupting. Cheers. Fans screaming.
Oh, no. Does he freak out?
The Braves won it in the 12th inning, and he was like, oh, I wonder what happened. Let's look on SportsCenter. I was like, they're in the 12th inning. It's no longer on any channel. They are past their allotted viewing time. And so I didn't say a single word to him the rest of the night. And then he texted me the next day, had the audacity to be like, had such a great time with you.
Oh,
Let's do it
my
again.
God.
And I was like, respectfully, lose my number.
You said that?
Yes. Yes.
Do you delete conversations in your phone?
I do. There are a few that I save for like receipts, but for those, yeah.
Oh my God.
Isn't that wild?
Dude.
Tell me you have something worse. 12 innings at a baseball game. Starving.
I don't have
It
anything
was
worse.
a Friday. I came from work. So I hadn't eaten since 11 o'clock lunch break that day.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah. I was in no mood.
Brittany.
So that was a time that you did not have a joyful Brittany.
Wow.
That'll go down in history. Like, I'll tell my grandkids about that one day. Like, Lord willing. Like, don't ever.
Dude.
Isn't that crazy?
I am.
Wild, right?
I don't know what's worse. I don't
know.
know if his weird attitude or
Not talking to me
you guys had great chemistry leading up to this.
for weeks, Logan, because I was like, you know what? Let me give it some time. Let the true colors come out a little bit. Because, you know, you can keep up an act for a couple of days over the phone, but not really sustain it.
Right.
It was like probably 3 weeks of talking.
Was he like charming? Like,
yes. So sweet, so thoughtful, so kind. Like, talked on the phone, like on the way home, like all green flags. And I was like, I don't know if you have like a doppelganger or if like you paid somebody a service to like communicate for you, but this is not it. So,
wow.
Yeah.
That is horrifying.
Yeah.
Dude, I can't get over the fact that he
Got
left and got food for
After
himself.
I tried 3 different times to get myself food. I was like, I'm not even putting it on you at this
I
point.
can just picture like sitting in the seat, you just fuming, angry at life.
Mhm.
And then he plops down to your left with like a
Mhm.
pretzel and a drink.
Oh, it
and
was
you
a
just
pizza, hot dog, a Diet Coke, and a beer.
and you look over at him in the corner of your eye and you're thinking like, Lord Jesus, I know he didn't just sit down with a bunch of
It wasn't
food.
even a side eye. I did like a whole turn. I was like, you've got to be kidding
You said it
me.
out loud?
Yes.
What'd he say?
He was like, I was hungry. I was like,
I've never wanted to assault another human being more than I do right now.
I sat on my hands. I was like, I may hurt this person. So,
Hey, Andrew,
if you're watching
this,
you're the worst. Yeah.
figure it out, bro.
Yeah.
Somebody get me this dude's address. I need to go find his parents
I
and
think
be
he
like,
lived in like Decatur
what
or
the fuck is
something.
you? What did you do to him?
Yeah.
What did you do to him?
Yeah. Isn't that wild?
That is wild, man. You know,
Yeah.
I know I haven't always been the nicest to girls when I was going through I went through a little bit of a fuckboy phase.
Logan.
I was a little bit of an asshole. I treated some people worse than they needed to be treated. I acknowledge that. I have owned up to that. And I regret that phase. But I'd never treated anyone with disrespect like that. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I was raised better than that.
Yeah. That's like bottom of the barrel.
You want to hear one that was really funny?
Always.
Are you good on time?
What time is it? Yeah, I'm good.
You sure?
Yeah, you good?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
good.
want to take up your whole night.
I'm good.
Okay. This probably is the worst date I ever went on. I'm trying to think if there was another one. No, I think this was the worst. Okay. So me and this girl had talked for probably a solid couple weeks before we were able to meet up and go on a date. And she was a big football fan.
Okay.
And I was living over by Smyrna at the time. And I said, hey, football season's coming. Do you want to go watch like the Georgia game over at Taco Mac and the Taco Mac near the Cumberland area? So you want to go to Taco Mac? And she was like, oh, I'm all for that. And I was like, and after Taco Mac, if dinner goes well, this is our first date.
Mm-hmm.
If Taco goes well. You can come over to my place afterwards. We can watch a movie.
Yeah.
You know, it was kind of this time of year, so it was like spooky season. I was like,
Yeah.
we could watch a scary movie together, whatever you want to do.
Mhm.
And she was all for that. So she brought stuff to change into she brought stuff
Like
to
comfy clothes.
intending to stay the night.
Yeah.
So she comes over first, drops her stuff off,
Mhm.
and then she just leaves her car parked at my place, and we ride to Taco Mac. Similar
Yeah.
situation. So we ride to Taco Mac. Everything's fine. And we get to Taco Mac in the nick of time because it just absolutes monsooning outside. I mean, horrifying thunder and lightning. But Taco Mac never loses power.
Mhm.
Red flag number one. Here we go.
Uh-oh.
So we sit down, and you know how Taco Mac, especially that Taco Mac, in the
Mhm.
booths, like there's the booths that have like the TVs like up above, so you can walk no matter what side you're sitting on, you can
Mhm.
see the TV. So the whole time, she's such a big football fan that this is how the date goes: is she's sitting across from me, the TV's playing, Georgia game is playing right here. The whole time she's like,
You were on a date by yourself.
oh,
that night.
dude. And I would just make conversation and just ask me a question. Just ask me something.
What's your favorite candy?
Sweet tarts. The whole time. So sad. And me and my roommate at the time had this code. And we said, if a date's going bad, text me and I'll call you and pretend to be like your dad or something, and there's a family emergency.
He's a real one.
He was a real one. Shout out Turner. Turner might be a good guy for you. Too bad he lives in Ohio.
I have family in Ohio.
Also, I think he's a relationship.
Don't be trying to be out, Logan.
Sorry. Turner's a good guy. So shout out to him. So I texted him. She ran to the bathroom, and when she comes back, I pick up the phone and say, I answer the phone and I'm like, hey, Dad. And he's like, sup, buddy? Just on the other end. And just makes up the story. Yeah. And I sent this text and I said, this girl wants to stay over. And at this point, I don't want this girl to stay over. Yeah, I don't even want to, I don't even want to, for that, I don't even want to entertain that. Yeah. So I say, just get me out of her staying the night. We can finish the dinner, but get me out of her staying the night. Yeah. So he calls and says, hey, buddy, I'm flying into town. I had an emergency trip. My flight got rerouted. I'm actually going to land in Atlanta at the earliest flight landing time, which is like 5:30 in the morning. So I would have had to leave my house to pick him up at 5 or 4 or something. Right. So I said, hey, she was like, is everything okay? I was like, yeah, my dad just called me. My mom is out of town visiting her parents, which she was. My mom was out of town visiting her parents. And I was like, and my dad needs a ride from the airport. And she was like, okay.
I'll go with you.
Well, close. She's like, okay, yeah, let's get back to your place. And we can talk about what's next or whatever. Her car was there. So and her stuff was inside. So she had to come inside.
At that point, Turner, you're sick. Boy, you're thrown up.
So,
come out, barf bag full.
For real. So we get back to my place. And when we get back to my place, I realized that the power went out because the storm was so bad. So we get in my apartment and my roommate's just sitting at the kitchen table with a candle just lit. And he's like, hey. And I'm like, how long's the power been out? And he's like, essentially after you left, the power went out. So I've been alone in the dark for like an hour. Poor Jordan. Not the Jordan we know, but another Jordan. And he's like, yeah, what are you going to do? And I was like, I don't know. I mean, my dad just called me and told me that I have to pick him up so early. So I looked at her and I was like, yeah. So like, do you want to just go home or something? And she was like, what time do you have to pick him up in the morning? I was like, I think I'm going to have to leave at like 4:30. She's like, I'll just wake up in the morning with you and I'll just go home from there.
You never give them the option, Logan.
I know.
Oh,
big mistake. Cause I'm too nice. At the time I was like, fuck. So during the date, in casual conversation, or no, I take that back. So I'm like panicking in my head. And I'm like, okay, how do I get this bitch to leave? Oh, no. So I remember, I said, ooh, what we could do is we could, put our hotspot up and we can maybe watch a scary movie. The power went out. We have candles that we could watch a scary movie in the dark.
Logan.
And she was like, oh, I hate scary movies.
Oh, that's what I'm watching tonight.
And I was like, you don't like scary stuff? She's like, oh, no, God, no, not at all. I hate scary stuff. And I was like, okay. And then we legit couldn't get the hotspot thing to work. Maybe because cell towers were down nearby. So we legit couldn't do that. So I was like, okay, well, if the TV's not going to work, then what we could do is I guess we could, what we could do is we could tell scary stories around the candlelight.
No, you didn't.
And she was like, oh, no, I can't do that. I can't do that. And I was like, here, I got a good one.
Oh, no.
And so I started to tell the story and she was like, okay, I'll just text you in the morning. I'm so sorry. And then she rushed out as I was about to tell this scary story.
Good for you.
Around the fire. And
Good
my roommate
for
was
you.
like, what the fuck? And I was like, dude. So I called Turner and put him on speakerphone. I was like, thank you, God, so much. And she went home after that. But I was like, how do I get out of this?
Listen, the amount of like bad dates I've wanted to escape from, but I feel so bad. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings.
I know.
You know?
And she was a nice girl. We went on a second date.
Logan, what's wrong with you?
But that time it was out of desperation for,
Oh, jeez.
But either way, I don't know where she is. I do remember her name. I don't know her last name though. I don't know if I'd be able to find her to show you. But she was crazy.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Because she got attached too after that second date. She was like,
yeah, no wonder.
She was like, what do you want your kids' names to be? And I was like, oh,
not
God.
the kid name.
I was like, I like my kids' names being blocked.
Bless it.
But yeah,
that's rough.
Yeah, that was tough.
Anytime I come into work after like being on a new date or whatever, like the entire team wants to know all the stories. And Jericho's like, you have the best date stories.
They're so good.
Well, because they're terrible. And I was like, I don't want to have good date stories that you enjoy. I want to have dates I enjoy.
Right.
But yeah, online dating, it's wild, man.
Have you been on any good dates lately?
I have not lately, but I have been on some good dates. But one of them, they were recently out of another relationship that had like just ended. And
they were?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And like, I didn't want to be anybody's rebound anyway, but he had set up a second date and he was like, if I'm being honest, like I can't stop thinking about my ex. And I was like, well, thank you for the honesty.
That's very honest.
Yeah.
I commend him for being honest.
I know, but I really liked him. I was like, dang it.
You're like, my name is X.
No, I'm not that desperate. But like, I appreciated him like not wasting my
for
time.
Sure,
like, he clearly was hung up, and like you handle that.
Yeah, good for him.
I wonder where his name was Levi. He was great. But
shout out to Levi, wherever he is.
I went on another good date, and I can't remember. I think his name was Jeff or something.
Jeff.
And like we had set up a second date, and then he just ghosted me. I get ghosted so often, and I think it's because like people just like they lie about their level of interest, and like I'm not going to like beg you to take me on another date. You know, like if you are good, I'm good. Like I'm not going to be anybody's like second, third, fourth option. Like I want you to be excited.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And so I don't know. I think people just have lost common courtesy to just be like, you know what? I'm actually not interested.
Yeah.
And that's fair. Like any bad date I've gone on, no matter how bad it is, I'm like, hey, this probably just isn't going to work in the long run. Like I'm good. But also a big turnoff for people is that I am a Christian. And so they're like, well, I don't do the whole church thing. And I'm like, unfortunately, our lifestyles probably won't add up. Like I'm at church more often than I'm at home, or probably just as often as I am at work. You know, like I'm heavily involved. So like that's a big part of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And like if that's not something you're interested in, awesome. I don't want you to have to do that for me, you know? Mm-hmm. So I think that deters people, but it is what it is.
It sure is.
My godson, he's like, hey, why are you a single Pringle? And I'm like, well, because guys are the worst.
Wow. Jeez, that's aggressive.
Well, he always starts off, you want to play 20 questions? And I'm like, sure, Charlie, let's play. And he's like, why are you a single Pringle? And I'm like,
that's kind of cute.
I don't have the answer for you, bud.
That's cute.
Yeah.
There's so many things I wanted to ask you, but I can't because I don't want to take up your entire evening. So you know what we'll do?
What?
Is we'll just do another one.
Okay.
At some point.
For this.
Is that cool?
Yeah, I'm here for this.
I know you're being nonchalant, but you're being too nice, Brittany. Do you have to go to your friend's house?
What time is it? 7:40? I mean, I'm good to go till 8.
Okay, that's fine.
Up to you. That gives
like to record until 8?
Yeah.
Okay, fire, because that gives me a good opportunity then.
Okay.
So towards the end
Yeah.
of all of my interviews I do with folks, or conversations rather,
Okay.
I ask them the same grouping of questions.
Okay.
All of them are they're very first datey questions. Guys, I want to tell you about another friend of my show, Your Light Marketing. If you're a small business owner or an entrepreneur trying to figure out how to stand out in a crowded market, I want to tell you about Your Light Marketing. These guys are all about helping you create a marketing strategy that's true to who you are without pushing you to follow trends or gimmicks that just don't feel right to you. They specialize in helping people build custom growth plans around their unique story and mission. So if you're tired of trying to be like everybody else and you want to attract the right customers, aka people who really resonate with what you're all about, then this is the team to talk to. Go to www.yourlightmarketing.com to book a free strategy session with them. Trust me, they will help you build a plan that feels authentic to you and gets results. Again, that's yourlightmarketing.com to book that free strategy session call with them. Your Light Marketing. So, no pun intended, but I say that to everybody. So fun that we were just talking about first dates. Yeah, they're just fun questions, and they just provide just everyday fun facts about people. You ready for these questions?
I hope so.
We kind of beat around the bush on this first question because of something we spent a lot of time talking about. But what is your all-time favorite movie?
Oh, goodness. That is hard. I feel like because Christmas is like my most favorite thing ever, probably it's going to be Elf.
Okay.
Yeah. But if you would have asked me like prior to adult years, I'd probably say Titanic. Like no matter where it is, I'm watching it. I don't care if beginning, middle, end, the whole time.
It's a good movie. It's a good movie. It's my dad's favorite movie. Anytime it's on, he'll throw it on.
It's so good.
Yeah.
And there was room on that door for both of them. I would just like to put that out there. Okay.
What was your first ever job?
I was a retail associate at McIntyre's Bakery in Smyrna.
McIntyre's Bakery.
Yeah, I was there for 3 years before my current job. But I sold cakes. I worked in production. I did training. I did a lot of like their online stuff towards the end. Every position you could have there, I kind of worked around. But yeah.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Rank these three in order of your favorite to your least favorites.
Okay.
Queso, guac, and salsa.
But do I get to pick like my elite version of each of those?
Oh, yeah. Just imagine that it's the most elite version of each.
Okay. Queso with jalapenos, pickled jalapenos specifically first.
Okay.
And then guac.
Okay.
And then salsa.
Okay.
Because I feel like salsa's so mid. However,
very mid.
If it is the smooth green salsa that you can get in Texas, either served chilled or warm, it's not guacamole, it's not tomatillo. I don't know what it is, but it's fantastic. If that's in the mix, first place every time.
Yeah.
But I can only find it in Texas, and I don't know what it's called. And I cannot make it. I've tried.
R.I.P.
I know. R.I.P.
If you were getting the electric chair tomorrow, Brittany,
okay,
what would your last meal on earth be?
Okay. So I love a good surf and turf action.
Okay.
So best cut of steak possible, medium rare, with scallops over like a good Alfredo pasta. Yeah.
Good answer.
That's where I'm going.
Good answer. You get to organize a music festival for yourself. Who are your three headliners?
Oh my. Okay. I feel like this changes often. I feel like I have to put Ludacris in there. I love me some Luda. Love him so much. Next, I feel like Morgan Wallen. I feel like all of his songs, 10 out of 10. And then third, the band Kane. It's like a contemporary Christian group, but they are fantastic, and I love them.
Okay. Hell yeah. What does a self-care day look like for you?
Coffee for sure. And if multiple times, like, here for it. Like morning and afternoon pick me up all day. Going to a bookstore, specifically one that like doesn't smell gross, because that just ruins the experience.
Are there a lot of bookstores that smell gross?
Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
There's a lot of them that have like animals that live in them. Like pets, and it smells like the pet, and it's
Ew.
gross. Yeah, it's gross. Anyway, it makes me not want to get a book because I'm like, it's gonna smell like this. So, coffee, bookstore. I feel like some kind of like relaxation. So whether it's getting my nails done or taking a nap in my emu at the park or just going on a walk, but it has to be like nice weather, like cool weather. I don't like to sweat.
Mm-hmm.
So like,
I can agree.
The colder, the better.
Bet. Very, very good.
So yeah, and I think that pretty much caps it. Maybe in the day watching a Christmas movie, being cozy on my couch.
There you go. I love it. What does success look like for you?
Oh gosh. I think success for me is being content in all aspects of your life, but also leaving a positive mark on the world. So setting those good examples and meeting those goals. I don't necessarily think it means anything that's like physical, like stuff for your house or monetary, because all of that's fading, right? But success for me would be like a happy family and maybe a couple of kids. Like I feel like waking up on Christmas morning, like with my husband one day and with children and like just around the Christmas tree and everybody's happy, healthy, like we're all together. That I feel like will be when I truly feel like I have made it. Like I am a success story at that point, which sounds cheesy, but
It's not cheesy. Do you know what the expression means when someone asks you what's a hill you're willing to die on?
Yeah.
What is a hill you're willing to die on?
Treat everybody with respect and kindness. Just be a good person, as good as you can be.
It's a good answer.
Yeah.
Very good answer.
It's important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What's your biggest fear?
I have like a very big fear of deep water, like middle of the ocean.
Like the TikToks that are like, yo ho.
They like make my whole body
Oh
cringe.
yeah, me too. Me too.
And like pitch black night, no light to be seen, like just darkness and extreme heights. Like all three of those combined, it's like a trifecta. Like Brittany's ready to combust out of fear. I'm good.
Understood. And then lastly, where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Oh, goodness. Hopefully I have a family by then, you know? I would love that. I would love to be in not necessarily a management role, but a leadership role within my career field, whatever that may be. I really like to help other people. And I would like to have ideally been able to build my own home from the ground up. So
it's a good answer.
Yeah.
It's a good answer. Brittany, do you have anything to plug?
Oh gosh, I don't know.
This is usually where the business owner or the musician or the somebody says, hey, this is where you can go follow my business or support my business. Or
can I just plug your morning drive?
You can.
I mean, keep listening.
You can.
Know? If you came here for me, stay for Logan.
Wow. Look at that. If you came here for me, stay for Logan. That's fun.
That's my plug.
I love that. Brittany, this is so fun.
Yeah, I love it. I survived my first podcast.
You did. You should get a little t-shirt that says you survived your first podcast.
I should. That should be, you should have something like all your guests have to sign, like a scrapbook of sorts.
Oh, that's freaking a great idea.
Yeah. And then you could put like memorable quotes or topics or like insiders that just you and that person have. That should be my plug.
Something that all your guests sign.
Yeah. And like you could just have a page or even a quarter page dedicated to each person, you know, get you a little Polaroid, take a picture and just have it kind of go through.
Son of a bitch. What a good idea that is.
I'm a genius.
What would you even call that? Like a memory book for guests?
What about the road trip? Because your morning drive.
The road trip.
Yeah. Trip down memory lane.
Wow. Are you looking for a job?
I have too many responsibilities right now.
Wow, that is so good.
Yeah, I'd be happy to help you brainstorm though. I got you.
I love that.
I got ideas for days.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love ideas.
Well, I got
Especially good ones like that.
I can't promise that they're all good, Logan.
Wow, I like that a lot.
Yeah, and then you can have it for like years to come, you know?
Yeah.
And like when you do have kids, if that's something you want to do one day, then you can show them like, look, this is like where we came from. And then when you make it big, look back at the humble beginnings.
Wow,
You know?
that's so cool.
Yeah. I'm very much a sentimental person. So
I love that because I am too. This was so fun. I loved getting to know you a little bit more, you getting to know me a little bit more,
loved it.
hearing your great stories. I mean, there's so much value in that.
Yeah, I disagree on your movie opinions, but that's okay. We can still be friends.
That makes sense. I mean, we talked about mansplaining, old people demanding respect, Christmas movies, the horrible movie known as Encanto.
Oh my goodness.
Your hidden talents, being rude to wait staff, controversial first dates. There's something in here for somebody.
I know. We kind of covered the gambit, you know?
We did.
Look at us, one-stop shop.
There's stuff that I had planned on asking you, but I didn't even get to.
Listen, part 2, come back for more. Keep listening.
We'll have to have you back because this was a lot of fun.
I'm here for this.
I feel like a lot of my episodes and conversations are very like business oriented, and I don't do enough of them with like friends.
Yeah.
I want to do more with friends, but a lot of the times when I'm like, hey, you want to do a podcast with me? People are like, why? I'm like, yeah, you're right. So yeah, I wish I could have gotten something up like this, like at work. That was something I really wanted to get.
I just feel honored that you thought I was interesting enough to talk to me for 2 hours.
Oh, dude. During the length of my employment, I was like, this is the most happy person I've ever met.
Well, thank you.
So I want to know what makes her happy. And now I know. Now I know why. You want to leave every room better than what it was when you entered it. I like that a lot. You should put that on a t-shirt.
I should. I love a good t-shirt.
Hey, you have a great shirt on right now, Zach Brown. That's really cool.
He puts on a great show. If you've never seen him in concert,
never have.
10 recommend.
Never have.
He's fantastic.
I've heard amazing things.
Yeah. And I saw him at Truist, which isn't my favorite concert venue, but he puts on a good show.
Sweet. Yeah. Good to know. I'll keep that in mind for next time. Brittani, thank you so much. You're such a joy to be around.
You're so welcome.
Guys, hope you enjoyed the conversation we had this morning, when you're listening to it. If you like what you heard, please again send this to somebody in your life that needs conversations like these to start their day. You know, like I just said, a lot of the conversations we have here are about business or entrepreneurship or the struggles people have gone through. But this one was very lighthearted, very fun, very jovial. And, you know, we need more of that. So we're going to make a priority to make that a thing over here. So if you enjoyed what you heard, again, send a link to a friend, follow on social media. Otherwise, we will be with you next time. Thanks so much, guys. Take care.